This guy is fake.
Do you think your rivalry, you guys have not fought yet, is online anyway? Is it the same level of vitriol that he had with Cormier, or is there more?
Nah, I don't think so because he's never actually been face to face with me. With Cormier, I was at the second fight that they were face to face in headbutt, and they've had like squabbles and shit. And it's been a bit more personal because they've been face to face. To me, he might just be just a troll. I think he might just be a troll and just trying to, like I said, get me, while I'm still green back in the day. But now I'm learning, so. Yeah, I don't think it's on the same level yet. I don't even think it's the same tone. I get what you mean, but now with him and DC, that's different. Like they've actually been in each other's face. But yeah, I do alternate between pity and disgust, to be honest. But one thing that's airy that DC said that he's gonna fuck up again. He's just like a person like him. He's gonna fuck up again. Like he won't learn from his mistakes. And sure enough, what did he do? 6 days after tweeting to all his fucking followers and his minions to stay home, what does he do? Ends up outside his favorite strip club, fucking taking shots and shooting shots.
He's done this all his career. Why do you think he posts and then deletes? What is that?
I think it's his handlers. They're like, bro, you idiot. You're not in the position to be throwing shade at this guy right now. You just got done again for a DUI. I don't know how many that is now. I think three or four, whatever it is.
So
But
I've done it. It's two DUIs, but remember he has the
yeah,
third incident where he hit the person and then came back for the drug paraphernalia. So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
who knows.
and the cash. Nah, but yeah. I mean, but he's regardless. It's just some kind of like, why are you even outside at that time with a gun? What are you doing? Like, is he? I don't know. Like, is he? Is it like some kind of like John Wick complex or God complex, like the apocalypse? The world is ending. The streets ain't safe. I'll be back, honey. And just sits out there like, oh, I don't know. I mean, the strip club's closed. They said everything's closed, so I don't even know why he's out there. But yeah, I can't put myself in that situation that he would even do that. But again, I'm not an idiot, so it's hard to relate.
Even when he's not beefing with you, he had that back and forth with Anthony Smith, where the guy came into Anthony Smith's home. Anthony beat the fuck out of him, sent him on his way, and then John was like antagonizing him for not, like basically like short of taking the dude's life. Which I also thought was just like a really that's like that's what you're gonna get on the guy about because he beat him within an inch of his life.
So I finally watched the interview with Ariel, and the guy Anthony talking about fighting for his life, talking about his wife and kids having, and his mother-in-law, I believe, you know, someone like John who's got, I think, three or four girls or whatever, and he's got a wife and kids, like he should be able to empathize and be like, fuck, good on you for protecting your family, good on you for laying it all down, good on you for your thought process through this whole thing, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm like I said, I can't relate because I'm not an idiot. But yeah, so did he post to delete with that as well?
I have to double check, but I mean
Yeah,
probably. I don't. I'm not certain.
probably. Yeah. So same thing. He probably did that, and his handlers are like, "Hey, hey, you can't do that. You're not in a position to be talking shit." Oh yeah, that's a bad idea. So delete, and then he'll just the fakest motherfucker, man. Such a coon, like such like I keep saying, he's just the whitest black guy you've ever met. Like he's not, and I don't know how. Like the way he conveys himself, he's so washed. He's washed up, but he's also so
What do you
yeah
mean by washed?
washed, like whitewashed almost. Like he's like he's trying to appease what he thinks is massa. I've seen that through his whole career. Like he's done it till the that video came out. Hey, pussy, you still there? And then like the illusion got broken a little bit, peep into the cracks for the first time through the viewer's eyes, and then eventually people started seeing the crumble. Like this motherfucker's fake, and they could smell it for years. That this guy is fake. DC Bean saying it's fake. All his peers been saying he's fake. He's one way on TV, but another way in real life. And look, I agree with keeping your real life and your personal life separate because I've done that with this shit. But the personality. I'm not saying even it might be part of him, but like obviously it's fabricated. The shit he has on TV, being a priest's son and all that. It's like how the Catholic schoolgirls are the freakiest. They're the ones that love to get crazy because they've been suppressed. That's Jones. Jones is a Catholic schoolgirl because he's probably suppressed his whole life, and he got a little bit of change, a little bit of notoriety, a little bit of status at a young, dumb age. Then he just like got all crazy and sucking every dick in town. Like finally, what's gonna stop me? Yeah,
Do you
dirty
think
little
that
slut.
I know this is a little bit out of left field, but have you given consideration to the fact that, like, again, New Zealand has done a really great job containing this whole thing, but shit's like, who knows, in different parts of the world, plus who knows when they're going to lift
Yeah.
travel restrictions. Could this coronavirus, have you given any consideration to the fact that it could change timelines, not merely about when you fight, but about who, namely with Jones, could it get expedited if there's a long layoff? UFC just says, fuck it, let's just go in that direction.
Oh yeah, easy. Yeah, it can happen. I mean, I've seen him. I've been saying what I've been saying for years, but no one listened to me till they saw the Dominic Reyes fight. Because I saw the fight with homeboy, the Brazilian, live in Vegas, and I remember I'd seen it live because he was right there. I checked him out, saw him at the prep point, and like he's the same height as me. He's just got a thick upper body, but the skinniest legs. And I remember looking at him fight live, and I saw the frame rate he was operating at because on TV the frame rate's a lot different, and when you see them fight live, you get to see the how they operate, the energy they bring, and watching them fight uh Santos, I was like, I've seen what I've seen, and I said it. People were like, oh, he's the goat, da 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 da. After Dominic Reyes, and the lackluster performance he had, not lackluster, like the troubles he had with Reyes, a tall, rangy guy. It's like, oh, maybe Izzy was right. Like, I've been saying I'm right. And what's he gonna do? Take me down? Be my guest? Find out about my wrestling too, because a lot of people find it the hard way. But yeah, the fight will get pushed up maybe, but if not, I still have bodies at middleweight. I still have like my plan in place. Like I said, variables. This is what I've said. I have always had my plan for variables come in play, like this whole world lockdown shit. I didn't prepare for a pandemic or the end of the world while I was thinking about these things. But if it came to it, yeah, it can happen.
Yeah, let me ask you about that Reyes fight because there was a little bit of back and forth between he and Reyes this past week. Reyes said UFC was looking to make a rematch again. Who the hell knows when that will happen? And then Reyes had said John doesn't want another dogfight. And then John's argument is you walked him down. Now, he did in the sense that, well, here was the thing. I spoke to Reyes after that fight. What Reyes told me was he wanted to get John moving because through motion he was able to land more successfully. So what is your sense about who really won the Reyes and Jones fight and why?
I've watched it once when it was live. I haven't watched it again. I've watched it once, but when I watched it, same thing. I was like, depends which judge is scoring and what they really value. Good thing I'm not a judge, but I could see the argument for Jones and I could see the argument for Reyes. Um, Personally, I I'd have to watch it again to make a choice. But when I watched it live, I didn't really pick a winner. I was like, fuck, it's so close, and I'm glad I'm not judging this fight. But yeah, I knew it was one of those fights, and I knew Reyes definitely he brought it to him. Reyes definitely showed that. Oh yeah, he bleeds like you. I mean, a lot of people have in the past, but like Reyes definitely showed what I've been saying. Like he's washed up. And when I say that, it's like his best years are behind him because he was in this so long, and he's been doing this so long. Like he's a legend. This guy's actually a walking legend. He's just tainted his legacy with everything he does outside the cage. There's a tweet, as a pinned tweet on my Twitter. It's probably the funniest, most accurate description of
Yeah,
Jones'
I have
brand.
it up here right here.
Fuck, it's funny. It's just this kid who gets his head stuck in a banister in the staircase, and then he gets freed, and then he literally within 3 seconds walks back and sticks his head in the banister and gets stuck and start crying again. I laugh at that because it's the funniest, most accurate description I can think of when it comes to that boy. One thing I'm gonna tell you is that Jones definitely turns his back a lot. A lot of people fail to take advantage of that. That's one thing I can give it away. He takes that's one thing he does. He turns his back a lot, and people chase him, and he has a chance to circle off and then own the center of the cage again, and then continue with his uh his dismantling. But yeah, I don't know if you've noticed that when he posts and frames and he's in trouble, and he has that like he turns his back. There's this. I mean, yeah. I'll just say I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. That's one thing. Also, just to like air it out clear, I never talk about this bitch unless I get asked, and then it's interesting to talk because it's kind of like a case study on. It's like David Attenborough type shit. You're like, because I've watched him for years. I'm like, why does this coon behave the way he does? And then I have to relate to it as well because I too myself am a young black man in a position of power. But like I said, I'm glad all this money, all this fame, all this attention didn't happen for me when I was 23 or 22 because I don't want to compromise my soul. I don't want to compromise my life. I don't want to compromise my well-being and my notoriety and my legacy because I've tainted it with all the decisions I've made. I know a young dumb Israel who's full of cum would have been on some bullshit. I still get on some bullshit, but I'm smart about it. That's the difference between me and him. But I know at that age my brain and how it was working, and I'm glad no one gave me millions of dollars at that age because yeah, I might not even be alive to be honest. I'm just being dead serious with you. Like you know, fuck, you don't want. Yeah, this life. I'm so grateful. I think it was 28. I've talked about my metamorphosis and the fact that I'm smart enough now to make decisions that are beneficial for my life and my future in the best way. And I have the right people around me to tell me, like, man, Luke, one day you'll see. Like, there's some things I try, but then I have the right people around me just to be like, hey, idiot. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a really bad idea. Why would I do that? But some motherfuckers don't. They have yes men like, oh well, you tell them. Oh shit, and then yeah,
When you got a DUI, it's like, dude, I got more than a handful of friends that have had run-ins with the law like that. Some DUI,
yeah.
but then when it happened a couple of times, and now that we're into the stage where he's in his 30s, I think it's where the conversation begins to get a little bit more different.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And then now also, it's not the first time Jones has had any issues with guns that everyone knows about. Trust me, I know some shit, but that's for me to know and people to not know. But yeah, like the guy's just a weird messiah complex. Like he runs that town in a way, like he just it's weird.
Saw this. This must have
Mm,
been about 12 hours ago. So right before you went to
yeah,
sleep. I don't
mm,
know if you'd been drinking or not, but you had written on
yeah,
Twitter,
no.
about time to start about time to start tweeting reckless.